Hey guys, Peter here to tell you about the latest from Kanonenfieber, Soldatenschicksale, out February 6th on Century Media Records. This release has 9 tracks, 41 minutes in length, and this is a compilation. They are a German black metal band. Now, what kind of compilation, you ask? Well, it's not a greatest hits. The band doesn't have a deep discography for something like that at this point in time. I'm sure it will be coming in the future, perhaps a live album that works a little bit like a compilation. I think that's something fans could really get behind. This compilation brings together a mixture of new songs and old songs. The first 2 opening tracks of this release, Zivvoir and Heizer Tenner, are brand new tracks by the band, and then everything after that was previously released across 3 different EPs. Yankee Division was released in 2022, their Füsilier in 2022, and Ubootsperre in 2023. All 3 of them under Noisebringer Records, the band's previous label. So putting this together makes total sense for me from 2 different perspectives. First, you're bringing 3 different EPs under one single umbrella, under one single roof, making it way more accessible for fans to pick up this record now that's coming out on Century Media versus when they were all individually released by Noisebringer Records. Then you adding more additional tracks to it, 2 brand new songs. So if you're a fan of the band, not only you want to pick up the new songs, if you can pick up a record that has these 3 EPs all in one single place, it just makes total sense to me. So I like the concept, I like the idea, I like the execution even better. Now, once it comes into the sound, let me tell you this. It doesn't feel like these songs were released in different time periods. It doesn't feel like these songs were released across 3 different EPs. It doesn't feel like this release has new music and old music. Everything sonically really fits well together. Everything has a sense of continuity from track to track in terms of the way the songs develop, but also a sense of continuity from the band's previous record into this compilation. The sound is exactly the same. It has that crisp sound. It feels dark at times, very penetrating, also very melodic. Sounds large, sounds big, very robust. For a black metal band, these guys create a sound experience that fills an arena, if you will. Not very common for the genre, but they do it extremely well, creating a dramatic perspective with sound, with experience, with texture, and really delivering that into almost a cinematic IMAX style performance. So I love how this record comes together from a sonic perspective, because it really minimizes the differences that exist within the 3 EPs and definitely the growth of the band from 2022 all the way until now. So it levels out everything, making it for a very cohesive experience, a very fluid, dynamic, engaging, entertaining experience from top all the way down to the bottom. Now, as far as the main elements of the sound, obviously I have to talk about drums and guitars. Let me start off with the guitars. This is a very guitar-focused, driven band that adds a lot of texture to their guitar sound. They're not your prototypical black metal band or even melodic black metal band. These guys have a different way of approaching their guitar sound. The tonality of the guitars on this record throughout every single song is phenomenal. I really love the way they sound, the way they come across, the impact that they have in the heaviness of the tracks, in the darkness of the tracks, and in the melody of the tracks. The guitar sound all around is outstanding. It definitely sets the tone throughout the entire record as one of the key elements for the experience, for the vibe, and definitely for the atmosphere and stories that are held within each and every single song. Really creating almost a 4D perspective just with the guitars alone. When you talk about the drums are there to really help emphasize the impact of the guitars, but also emphasize the size of the tracks. I don't think you can create a black metal album that sounds at times cinematic or even arena rock style compositions without great drum sound that really fills the room, that sounds robust, that has substance in it, and that's exactly what they do throughout this entire release. I love the drum sound. I love how it's captured, feeling very natural, very warm, very analog, and then the guitars, the dynamics between them really complementing the overall sonic texture and palette of this record. Once you get into the vocals, one of the main things about the vocals on this record is also the difference in the dynamic movements that they have. I think it's really important when you're trying to tell a story that the story doesn't feel necessarily like a monologue, and it comes across at times a little bit more like a dialogue. And that's something they do really well, not only on the new songs, but something that they've done always really well, and it's represented throughout every single track on this record. I also like the layers. This album has a lot of vocal layers, specifically once you get into the chorus. But that is a way that they have to make the choruses more memorable, make them hookier, catchier, also adds volume, and when you add volume, at the same time, you're adding size. So when you have that cinematic approach to your music, without overindulging in it, but you're trying to create a sound that's really large, really captivating, having those vocal layers at times throughout the tracks really allows the songs to expand a little bit more, to have a little bit of a larger footprint. Obviously, in the areas of tracks where you need a little bit more darkness, where the songs need to be a little bit more penetrating, you're not going to get those same layers, and that's what makes the dynamic movements vocally within the track and from track to track. All around, this is an outstanding compilation. I really enjoy this because now, from my perspective, if I want to listen to these songs, I don't have to pick up 3 different EPs to listen to 2 tracks per each EP. No, I can put this on, listen to brand new songs, and listen to old tracks that sound new. So everything all together really feels like a brand new full-length album released by Kanonenfieber. And that is the perfect way to put a compilation like this together. As far as some of the favorite highlight songs of this record, I want to talk about the 2 brand new songs, and then I want to talk about my favorite song from the older tracks. And this is a really hard task because I love every single track on this record. But Zivvoir is the first brand new song released with this compilation. It's the opening track, and it's a great opening track. As you guys know, the video is out. It's super driven. The drums have amazing size for this song. It has a little bit more of a dark melodic undertone as far as the guitars are concerned, but it's super textured. The overall sound is super textured. The vocals are very dynamic. It has a lot of size, a lot of layers, specifically when it gets to the vocals in the chorus, making the chorus really stand out. I mean, this song adds simplicity to the chorus, to the vocal layers. When you put those 2 things together, the chorus is just memorable. Like, it's really easy to remember this song. It's really easy to remember the chorus of this track, regardless if you speak German or not. Everybody can sing the chorus on Zivvoir. It's just one of those tracks that makes it almost radio friendly, if that's even a thing for black metal, but it makes it very accessible in terms of how it's constructed, how it's presented, and definitely how it's executed. Then you have Heizer Tenner. This is the second song on this release, and it has this, when I was talking earlier about arena, about IMAX experience, cinematic approach, this song really has it in spades. It's a great track, both musically and vocally. Sounds massive. It feels massive. It sounds massive. It has a lot of size, and with that size, 2 things come together. Heaviness, it's a heavy song, but there's also a lot of darkness on this track in the way that it feels and the way the sonic experience comes through, brings darkness with every single note. The vocals are super layered. That this adds a lot of size, but it also emphasizes a lot of the darkness that the song has. That darkness is not just emphasized through sound, is also emphasized through vocal performance. The chorus, once again, stands out. This band knows how to make songs that have captivating choruses, that have hooks. These guys create almost pop hooks in black metal songs, which is incredibly good, making the tracks, like I said earlier, also more accessible to fans that are on the periphery of the genre, but even fans that are die-hard black metal fans can really appreciate a band like Kanonenfieber, the way they approach music. This track really represents the band well in terms of where they are today and how they approach songwriting. I love the verses being a little bit more narrow, adding a little bit more of a heavy, bombastic, cinematic experience to the chorus. Now, as far as the older songs, I'm not going to say old because they're not that old, but the older songs, my favorite one is Der Füsilier I. I just love this song. It's easily becoming my favorite Kanonenfieber song of all. This is easily becoming that track. I love the historical audios that they add to the song. That adds incredible atmosphere to the track. That's something that they do quite a bit, not just in this track, they do it in other songs. And I always enjoy that, specifically if your themes are World War I. Why not include these historical pieces, these dialogues, in there to kind of help place the song better, create a backdrop, create a storyline, really help situate the song in a different way. I think it's super important for a band like Kanonenfieber to have that. This song has it. I really enjoy it. The drums on this track are really cool because for the most part they sound like a marching drum, which I thought was a really cool touch for a song like this. You're bringing a military style percussion style into a track that's all about military. So I love that approach. I love that sense of it. The guitars are heavy, they're dark, but they also have a lot of melody on this track. When you have all of those different perspectives or all of those different experiences coming out of the guitars, you have a very rich overall guitar sound. But this song also has despair. More than darkness, I would say there's a sense of despair with this song that's perhaps a little bit, not diluted, but minimized once you get towards the end of the song, and that's when the chorus hits. I really like that aspect. It changes the dynamic of the track, makes this a very unique track from a pure structural standpoint. And that ending, the way that chorus hits, it's so cool. The melody of the guitars is so cool. The vocal performance is so cool. It adds so much to that end. It just emphasizes that portion of the song. It just really emphasizes the core aspect of the track, and not having your traditional setup makes the song really stand out in a positive way. This is it. Kanonenfieber with Soldatenschicksale. The record, the compilation, comes out once again February 6th on Century Media Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band. They're going to be touring across Europe. They're going to be playing at Inferno. I'm going to be there in April to see them for the very first time. I'm super excited. But hit me up in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts about Kanonenfieber, and I'll see you all at the next video. Take care, guys.